Hey everyone, it's Kendall. Heads up, I come into today's episode with a heavy heart. Not here today with the usual, here's what we can do, or here's a hopeful note. Today I'm gonna be real about how discouraged I'm feeling. I'm watching animals and land and the way we treat both, or maybe fail to treat both, and it's making me sick. I'm not proud of how long I've held this rage inside, or even how often I have to brush it aside, but today it's coming out. And I don't have a neat solution. I don't even have a tidy call to action. It's really just a cry for help, for land, for animals, because when you keep seeing living beings treated like commodities and watching green spaces converted like they don't matter, you begin to feel like nothing matters. But I refuse to believe that. Let's start with what I see from the farm perspective. I see goats with those rectangular pupils, sheep looking out from their stalls, turkeys strutting around. These are all living beings with nervous systems and feelings, with wants and fears. And then I see systems and societies that treat them as production units or background decor. It does not match, and it sits wrong. Beyond the animals, I look at the land. On the East Coast, our development pressure is intense. A 2013 report from the Gulf of Maine region found that in some counties along the coast, developed lands grew 3% between 1996 and 2006, and most of that growth was, believe it or not, previously forested areas. In Massachusetts specifically, the report Losing Ground, Nature's Value in a Changing Climate from the Mass Audubon shows that between 2012 and 2017, the pace of land lost to development continued to exceed meaningful gains in protection. So, for example, Massachusetts is losing open space at the rate of tens of acres per day. Earlier editions of the report described losses of 40-plus acres of open space daily between 85 and 99. So think about that. One day, 40 acres gone. Forest, pasture, wetland, gone. But we don't stop. In Massachusetts, Mass GIS land use summary tables show that many towns are already heavily developed, and the buffer of underdeveloped land is shrinking. So I walk at Dalby, and I know these aren't abstract numbers, they're real. They're trees we'll never see again, fields we'll never reclaim, and habitats that are just wiped out. And then there's that meat industry we all know about, but don't really do anything about, right? Animals, the treatment there, the land being used for feedlots, monocultures, the pasture getting replaced with chemicals, and grazing is replaced with infrastructure. This matters because animals are living, land is living, and when our systems treat them like they're interchangeable resources, oh my gosh, the destruction we're opening ourselves up to is unbelievable. And I'm feeling that. Why aren't others? And then plastic, it's everywhere. Streams, pastures, barns. Our land is littered because our habits are careless. Animals ingest pieces, soil carries microplastics, water gets poisoned, it all ties back. Land and animals and living beings don't operate in silos. When one is treated poorly, the others suffer. So, I'm discouraged. I'm more than discouraged. I'm angry because I know better. We know better and we do worse. And if you're like me and you love land and animals and all the things that nature does and is and should be, you should be feeling this too. And I'm sorry if it makes you sick, but I'm sick. Everything is sick. All right. According to the 2024 Massachusetts Climate Report Card, our state's natural and working lands sector is technically on track to meet its goals for carbon sequestration and to permanently protect about 28% of our land area. It sounds helpful, but it's not. On track doesn't mean safe. It means we're racing the clock. Every day that passes, large swaths of open land remain unprotected and vulnerable to development. Mass Audubon's Losing Ground report paints a clearer picture. Between 1985 and 1999, Massachusetts lost about 40 open acres of open space every single day. From 2005 to 2013, that number dropped slightly, but we were still losing between 13 and 20 acres of open space per day. And when you include land lost outside of building footprints, things like cleared lots, driveways, and lawns, the figure jumps to 80 acres a day. 80 acres every day. That's hundreds of football fields of habitat erased before most people would finish their breakfast. Across the state, there are now over 2.1 million individual land parcels per MAPC data. I don't know. That means development decisions aren't just big picture, they happen parcel by parcel, backyard by backyard. Every time a plot gets subdivided or paved, we trim away another piece of our collective future. There's somebody right down the street from the farm who said out loud, they don't even need the money, but hey, here's 18 acres we want to develop. Why? Think about what this means for animals. Every lost patch of pasture, woodland, or wetland represents a vanished ecosystem service, carbon capture, clean water filtration, natural shade, pollinator routes, and safe places for wildlife. When we bulldoze it, the animals lose their homes, and whether we admit it or not, humans lose something too: stability, resilience, peace. I am stunned by how fast we're giving it away. It's not just a Massachusetts issue. It's an East Coast crisis. It's probably a country crisis. But the State of the Gulf of Maine Coastal Land Use and Development Report found that in southeastern Massachusetts, developed land was increasing 3 times faster than the population itself. By 2030, some watersheds are projected to have 50 to 63% of their land area fully developed. That level of change is irreversible. As we say, once it's gone, it's gone. And the truth, animals don't simply adapt, guys. They suffer. They vanish. And when the living web around a small farm collapses, it doesn't matter how sustainable you try to be. The world around you is shifting out from under our feet. Deep breath. Let's expand further. The meat industry globally uses vast amounts of land for feed crops, grazing, processing, waste, runoff, and animals become production lines rather than beings. For every animal, there's not just the body, but the experience. Their nervous systems matter, their pain matters, but the systems that treat them as numbers, well, too bad. We breed for weight gain. We house them in tight spaces. I shouldn't say we, I do not, but they disconnect land from natural cycles. When land is converted for large-scale meat production, ecosystem integrity gets eroded. Pasture is replaced by feedlots, monocultures, which we've discussed, soy and corn. It's not pasture. Biodiversity drops, soil quality declines, water usage spikes. It all loops back. Animals lose context, land loses life. And I'm watching it, feeling it, and it makes me question how we claim to care, but then act otherwise. Plastics tie in because they're a symptom and a cause. Landfills, microplastics in soil, waterways, animals ingesting plastic pieces because land isn't treated as sacred ground, open fields become dumping grounds, streams carry bottles, shells of animals may show plastic fragments. The living are compromised by convenience. When animals and land are treated without regard, it makes me feel sick. I feel heavy. I feel defeated. I feel like we are on a treadmill, consuming, converting, discarding, and I don't have the energy to pretend like it's fine. So I want to be transparent. what this does to me. I feel grief, I feel anger, I feel burnout, I feel guilt, because I can't control any of it, really. I've got this tiny little corner in the world. I can't stop development across Massachusetts. I can't single-handedly transform the meat industry. I can't remove all plastics, but I can feel the weight of it, and that weight is accumulating. I wake up in the middle of the night worrying about the rare breeds at Dalby, the habitats around us, the streams we pass, and I feel inadequate. I look around and I ask, if people who love animals and land this much feel crushed, what hope is there for anyone else? It is really hard to love something that's being destroyed and not feel it in your marrow. And the people who care the most are at risk of very real burnout. This community, this small community, needs help. We need to see systems change, and we need people to see the living, not just the commodity. If animals with nervous systems and land with ecosystems matter, and I believe they do, then anytime anyone is treating them out otherwise, is treating everything I am with disregard too. And I'm sure members of this particular line of thinking would feel the same. But like I said, I don't have a magic solution. I can't stand here and give you 10 ways to save the world, because small steps alone don't fix systemic disruption. But we can stay aware. We can look at the land and animals in our local communities, especially. I know some of you are living in towns that are just throwing up huge developments every other month, and nobody's saying anything. This is part of the problem. The world is big and broken, but what we do on our property, in our fields, with our animals matter. The culture of care translates. And it's hard, but you can feel. Allow yourselves to be discouraged. This is me right here for the first time going off script, so to speak. I'm feeling it, but I'm showing up, because the alternative is numbness and complacency. We can speak. Let your voice matters. I don't know how many people will actually hear this. I don't really care. But I'm going to talk about land use, animal welfare, about plastics. I'm going to do it because maybe we'll connect to each other, to animals, to land. I know I can't carry this weight by myself, and neither can my family. We need more people. So I lay it out as an invitation, I guess, not a manifesto. If somehow you're listening and you feel it too, we can hold this. The hurt, the anger, the hope even, it's there. It's just really hard to see. So here we are. A farm girl in Massachusetts, looking out at trees and goats and chickens. Looking at pixelated development maps. Looking at goats and turkeys. And then I'm looking at lists of acres lost. I see everyone has a dog. Everybody has a dog. Everyone has a pet. But we can't apply the logic of this animal to all the other ones. I'm just saying it out loud so it's not buried, so it can move through me and maybe move through you. When you walk into a field or a trail, listen. When you see an animal, look in their eyes. When you drive past land being cleared, notice. Because if you stop noticing, you stop caring. And if you stop caring, then what are we left with? And I know there's that whole zone it or own it thing, but maybe if those owners felt the pressure from you, they would think twice before clearing it out. People are so quick to gather and protest one thing or another, but I don't really ever see it in service of the animals, the underrepresented. Who's out there for them? Trees can't talk, but well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Maybe you'll be a part of whatever this is. It is messy. It's unresolved. It's imperfect. But I'm going to keep going. I can't help it. I care. I'll breathe as I walk with the goats. I'll watch the water, the oceans. I'll pick up that plastic, even when no one is looking. It's not enough, but it matters. Until next time, take care. And I'm sorry I was a bit of a downer here, but sometimes you look around and you really don't know who's with you. If you enjoyed this episode, please share, leave a comment, maybe a question I can answer in a future episode. Subscribe to the channel, you know the whole deal. And of course, you can visit dolbyfarm.com. We do ship nationwide. Our country store has something for everybody. So I hope, and please know that all purchases, I believe it's at least 50% of each and every purchase goes directly back to the care and upkeep of this family farm. So we thank you very much. I hope this finds you well, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and don't forget to appreciate the rare and wonderful things in life.